cannot believe that the series is coming to an end. Okay, like I said at the beginning of the series, this was going to be about friendships and relationships. Okay, so it started as us talking about friendship, and then we dabbled into relationships, and then we dabbled into how men see this, and I promised that I would work to get Denrele and Ola in the studio so we could have this conversation to round off the series. Don't worry, we'll be back soon. Very, very, very soon. Trust me. But I think that starting off with the definition of friendships and relationships from different perspectives was good. Because, hey, that's basically what mental wholesomeness is. Because if you don't have the right tribe, how in the heavens are you going to navigate life? Welcome to Mindfully with Tumishe, the podcast. I am Oluwatumishe Oladapo Kuku. Denrele is here.
Hey!
Ola is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
I think it laughs more than I do. Yeah. So we have coffees in. Ola has tea. And we're
Ginger
ready
lemon tea, please.
Ginger lemon tea.
It's Ola having the tea today. I'm having coffee.
Oh yeah. Why did you change your coffee though? Today, that is.
Okay, so I needed the high.
Good high. All right, so there's so many questions, or there are. Why am I speaking? There are many questions.
He's American.
Yeah, do you understand that I want to ask you guys? Right. But as Ola walked in to the studio this morning, like I opened the gates for him, and he was laden with a trolley bag and a handbag, and I wanted to help him, and I was like, what? The shock on his face.
Right.
The shock on his face. And then I'm like, why couldn't I help you? I was like, no, I'm not used to it. So, that's where we're starting this conversation from. Ola, what was the big deal? Me taking a bag from you?
What in the patriarchy was going on?
No, I don't even think it's patriarchy. So I grew up in a household of 3 boys. Right? No female in the house. So I'm still not used to the female doing stuff for me. So when you said this, and I just remember that even yesterday when I went to see my mom, my brother's wife is with her. And then she, Yoruba ladies are very courteous and very nice. And she ran to take the bag out. It was just something I got from mom. Yeah. And she ran. And she does it every single time, right? And I still feel reluctance, right, at releasing my. So I just think it's something that is ingrained in me. It's not that I can't release my stuff. So so I just think it's, and I see it should be the other way around. They say we're the stronger. I don't. So when in terms of mental capacity, in terms of emotions and stuff like that, I don't think a woman is inferior to a man, right? But in terms of even just the way we are structured, right, I think that a man probably has more muscles, right, than a woman.
Yeah, so is that not why they lose weight faster than we do? Yeah,
I don't know. So I think that's why at the back of my mind, I just feel that I haven't gotten past that. And it wasn't even heavy, so it's not even. It was just heavy. It wasn't heavy, It's just like back home. I'm like, why would I? It's the other. You're used to collecting stuff from Mom C to carry, and not the other way around. So again, like what I said to you, I have to relearn. For me, it's a learning moment. I have to relearn that. If somebody wants to take stuff from me, what I usually do is, even guys, I just tend to give them the lighter one. So maybe that's what I should have done. If you want to help me to do this, why not, carry the lighter one? Well, it was a learning moment for me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So it takes me to part of the conversation we had when we were talking about when to walk away. Was it when to walk away, or when we were talking about the, whether the guy feels the same thing the lady feels, especially when a young couple gets married and not married, gets under the sack. They get themselves pregnant, and then you remember that conversation, and then they allow the society allows the. So, do you want to ask him that question today?
Yeah, I want to also. I'm going to ask him that question, but is it okay for me to just say something?
Oh, please go ahead.
The
episode.
And the luggage episode. So I think Ola is this a social script, which is part of what you were drawing from when you said no to her to receiving that luggage from you. However, there's a social script, or more like there is an ingrained script in her. Right. And in every female. So as a Jesus girl, I'm going to say that we're wired to be helpers. So maybe, and then there's some people have that helper strain that is more refined than others. So maybe it's that helper strain of her that just came in to say, oh, I can see someone needs assistance. And I just want to lend a hand. So it had nothing to do with, oh, I'm a weaker sex, or I'm female, I'm not supposed to do this. You know, she was stepping into her role.
Yeah, which was great. Yeah.
So maybe, so for me, you saying that, oh, you should relearn, that's fantastic. But if you see it from the other person's perspective, and that's, you know, to take from your point about perspective, really would help you understand that, okay, let me allow her to take this. But I think I like what he said about giving you the smaller bag, because that would also know that I'm not overburdening to Michelle with my own burden. So when we bear each other's burdens, you have to understand that you don't have to give the larger part of your burden to the other person.
I know, right? It wasn't a aha moment for me. She's saying that I stepped into my help. Because everywhere on social media when I'm writing, I'm saying, oh, my deepest desire is to serve others. And that's why I have this podcast and I wrote the book and all of that. So, you know, you just can't. Was so unconscious. Remember,
it was.
He came in, and I just went for this. It did not even occur to me that I was. I was prepared. It did not even occur to me that I was tapping into my default metaphor.
Exactly.
Exactly. Gosh.
Okay.
A moment of silence.
So the question you asked me.
Yeah, you are asking. I'm not asking.
Yeah. Okay. So the question you wanted me to throw at Ola. So Ola, what would be your thoughts on, you know, because for women and societal expectations, there's some ways we've been trained and raised to say certain situations happen. This is the default, to borrow Tumishi's word now, outcomes for girls, or default responses from girls. For instance, I think the reference we made was when if a girl gets pregnant and then she on one hand is told that your life grinds to a halt and now you have a baby to take care of, it's going to affect maybe your education, but on the other hand, the guy is giving like a leeway to make a choice to say, I want to be a father or not. But the girl is the one that is saddled with the responsibility, because she has to be the one to nurture the fetus to full term. And the guy can walk away from that situation. His parents can even give him the room to walk away by saying, oh, our son is not responsible for this pregnancy, whatever the case may be. But from a male perspective, what pressure does that put on a young boy? I mean, coming from a young boy, maybe you never got anyone pregnant. We don't know. This might be a good forum for you to disclose if you want to.
Did you get someone pregnant?
It's a safe place.
It's a safe place. Did you get someone?
But just to say,
are you thinking about it?
As a young boy, you may have had friends who...
I'm thinking, why didn't I do that?
Okay. You know? But you may have had friends who've fallen into that kind of misadventure. Or who may have fathered a child very young in their teenage years, whatever the case is. But just from a male young boy perspective, what do you think the pressure is a young boy faces? What are you told at home when you're growing up about, you know, getting into sexual encounters that your body may be ready for, but your mind, your spirit, your emotions, everything else is not aligned?
Very hard question.
Really?
How is it hard?
Because this is not my experience. I grew up in a household that we talked about almost nothing. So conversations would happen fluidly, but they won't sit you down to have those conversations with you, right? So, for me to now put myself in that would be very hard, very, very hard.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm thinking that the lady, the girl, cannot delegate the role of carrying the baby to someone else. So by default, there are just two options for her: carry the baby or abort the baby. For her, for the guy, he's not carrying anything. There are also two options: accept responsibility, right? Sorry, the options are accept that you are the father of the baby, because really that's the option. In fact, that's the only option, right? Accept that you're the father of the baby, which comes with taking care of the baby, taking responsibility for the child, or deny that you're the father of the baby, which comes with abandonment, just walking away, right? I'm not sure if it's a society thing that puts that pressure on. It's just a normal human thing. I don't know.
So let me. So this is it.
Yeah.
So we know, even in the movie. I think the only movie that has balanced this is Sister, where both the lady and the boy. Have you watched Sister? Please tell me you have.
Which movie is this?
Sister.
Oh yeah, I've seen Sister.
You've not seen Sister?
It's a Nigerian movie. It's on Prime.
By Bjorn Stevens.
I've heard about
Amazing story. But I think that's the only movie I've seen in recent times that both the guy and the girl were told, "Go figure yourself out."
Right.
Go figure yourself, and we still saw the pressure. On the guy. So I think the question here we're trying to clarify is, what do you think, since it's not your experience, but I hope I can get someone who has that experience and is willing to talk. So if I'm putting it out there, you're willing to share your story, I would appreciate it. Again, it's a very safe space. You don't have to say your name. Just share the story. The pressure that comes with him having to abandon the love of his life, abandon the child that he's helped make, and seeing the pain that the girl or the lady he professed love to, and his parents are saying, "Okay,
Right.
choose. Do you want this woman? Or we're not going to take care of you." So, and then he is then forced to let the lady go.
Yeah.
So that's
I can see that pressure now. I can see that pressure now. Again, it's
difficult.
Because in the first place, I'm one for, just because you have had sex before marriage and there's a baby on the way, I'm not one to say go and get married. Because I don't believe that a baby is reason enough
for you to get married. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So if so the pressure now is not from the guy. The pressure is from the parents. Right. That's, if I get you right, it's not from
You can
maybe on a
good
good day he would accept that this child is mine and then chip in whatever it is that he can, to support the mother and the child.
Yeah.
But what I get is the pressure from the parents to say that you have to go to school. You cannot take care of any child at this point. Now that's where the real pressure.
We're, and I hope, and I think a lot of ladies are trying to wrap it around their head. What is going on in the guy's head?
Exactly.
Right.
And for
when
me,
he has to, because I think it's just unfair to. I'm not a genderist in any way, but I just think that it's unfair what has been passed now to help the boy make a decision and not put into consideration whether he actually, even if he's not going to marry the woman he had bedded and has a child, allow him. But the narrative when such a thing happens is the girl's life is grounded. The guy can go ahead.
Right.
And I think this is what has fed this gender wars since forever. People thinking that society gives men more. Oh, somebody's going to slap me for that.
Right.
So like society think that society gives more room or more leeway or segue to women.
I see and it makes sense. Again, it comes down to the patriarchy society that we live in. More preference is given to the male child than to the female child. So you'd have a situation whereby they believe that if this boy goes ahead and furthers his education, he can take care of us, or he can do stuff for us when he has gotten to that height, which I think that really doesn't hold, but it was something that held. And you know how something can just pass through to you in your DNA. This is so real. Like, so I saw my niece. She's just about 2 months. She has the lips of my brother. And I see her, she's just 2 months. So it's not like anybody has said into her ears, like, this is how your father. And I see her do the things that my brother used to do when he was young. This is just how things can pass from one generation to the other without any conditioning. Without any conditioning, because my brother would draw and then would put his bum up when he was young. And I'm seeing this, I'm like, but this is like, I know that thing exists, but it doesn't, I'm seeing it now. Like, I'm seeing it every single time now. And I'm like, this is mad. Like, this is absolutely crazy. You don't even know who your father is. Yet. But, so I think that, we just grew up with those subliminal things, and then we just, but you find people who at some point come against that thinking and like, why? And when questions like why happen, things begin to change. And I think that's why you see a lot of those things. People question, no, I'd rather drop out. I've heard about people drop out of school because they give in fact, let me change my few. Let me change. A few guys have done that. But again, so I read I saw a research a few months ago about how during the war, after the war, how more boys.
Which of the wars?
The Nigerian war, the Civil War,
Nigerian Civil War.
How more boys dropped out of school in the East for their sisters to go to school.
Oh wow!
Yes. And I was shocked. I saw it, and I was like, okay, I saw the Twitter stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take this. This can't be true. And I went to do my own check, and I found that there were more boys who withdrew from school because, again, it was easier for the boys to go to the farm and do stuff.
Yeah, I just thought about it now. Yeah,
because they were, the economy of the Saudis had been decimated during the war, so it would make sense for the men to,
step back and
start building the economy from business.
So it's still the same thing of what has been built. That's their own conditioning. A guy will step down for a girl to do what she needs to do. So I think it's just us thinking things differently. I'm always very careful to generalize, because if you generalize and say, why is it always about the woman? In this case, so are we going to say the same thing? Like, why is it about the woman? Why did they bring out the girls from school and send them to go and do maid somewhere, right? Than allow them to be in the school while the guys dropped out of school. So I think it's just and I see this thing, but again, because it's not something I've really experienced in terms of you gave a girl belly.
So why were you thinking of it? I should have done that.
No, like, because I have friends whose children are getting into university, and I think that's a fantastic experience.
I'm curious to know, if you have friends like that, have you asked them questions to say, dude, how did you do it? I mean, how old were you? Are you that intimate with them?
I'm 44, so my first child, or at least, should have been in the university now. If
That's what we're saying. That's the
the
point.
one I'm talking about, talking about got married.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it wasn't out of wedlock.
So
They
you-
got married.
So you don't have friends.
That's
who-
what I'm gonna say. You keep it really clean.
Like, I don't
You're
even
like
have
a
friends.
good
Where are
boy.
they?
Oh.
Oh,
You're a good boy. Maybe you shouldn't be the ones here. We want a guy who has painted the town and left strings of baby mamas in different area codes.
It's not. So I was telling someone a few days ago that my mom, I trust when we were growing up, I would bring my friends to my house, and mom would not say anything, she would not react.
Female friends.
No, I went to an all male secondary school, and they would come and play game and stuff like that,
right.
you know. And then my mom would not complain, but there was a particular friend that she said she didn't like. And I stopped being friends with that person because I trusted. She had been right on so many. If I don't like a person, I don't like a person. I don't know what it is that she was using. You know, I know it's not jazz. You know, but so maybe that helped because it kept me away from a lot of and again
shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Even I didn't even go to parties. Right?
I don't.
I don't even.
I don't. I didn't go to parties. I've never been to a club. People go like, no, it's not
I've
possible.
been to a club just about once or twice.
No, I've never.
In your entire adult life.
In my entire life,
This
not even
person
adult.
has a different experience.
Fantastic.
I'm like the rebel in this place. But here's the thing, though. So I know in the line of your work, you've encountered people who've come to talk to you about, personal issues and,
Right.
And my curiosity, and I may be able to speak for a lot of women or
Right.
some women
Right.
who want to know in the context of friendships and relationships
Right.
and how this would as we advance in life,
Right.
and we want to get into healthy, interpersonal relationships with the opposite sex.
Right.
This is why what my curiosity is how much of what has happened in our past, traumas, and even good times, even healthy,
Experiences, good and bad. Yeah.
how much of that would impinge or would impact how much of yourself as a guy you can give. The reason being that if your parents give you a pass, for instance, now you don't have that experience, but I'm just saying put your head in that space. If
For
your
a
parents
moment.
give you a pass to say you can walk away from a girl who you got pregnant because you're 16 or 17 in secondary school, just about to write your WAEC, or just finished jam,
Right.
and your parents say, look, this is not the plan we had for you.
Right.
And that girl, we don't know her, we've never seen her, or
Right.
we've heard gist in the neighborhood that she sleeps with that one. It
Right.
can't be yours.
Right.
You can't take responsibility. Let her parents fix her. And they give you a pass to walk away from that responsibility. But you know deep down inside that for the period of 6 months, it was just you and this girl shagging. Somewhere.
Ola,
Right.
Ola, this is not the Ola now that
This is
wants to
not you
answer
we're
that.
talking about.
Right.
We're talking about the Ola then.
Right.
As put yourself as a 16-year-old or
Right.
17.
So now you're getting 10 years or 20 years down the line, 36. How much from your experience do you think that passed? Because now this person is not made to take responsibility. So it's easy for him now to consider getting into bed with any girl and say, if you're pregnant, man, go and fix it. It's not my problem. Go and fix it. It's not my problem.
Is that a stereotype or is it true?
So that's what I want to say. How much does that impact on friendships and your responsibility for even your emotions and how much you give of yourself to someone else now?
Okay, so let me say this. Do not worry, guys. Ola is going to get his time to ask us this question.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to get his time
No,
to ask us.
I'm the questions are making a lot of sense. So I don't think that again, so my belief is that the traumas of our childhood impact us for good or for evil. Right. I'm not even going to use bad.
It's not evil.
Right. So there is that possibility that he would become a tyrant and just be very, I don't care, right? That kind of thing. Or he can flip. This is what happened to me. I lost a child. I didn't get to know the child. I'm not going to allow that to happen to me again. So those are the sides that that can happen, because you still have people who didn't walk away from their children that still don't take care of the children.
They're still dead.
They're still, yeah.
Fair.
Right. So I think it's but again, I love the thought of it, that because I was having this thing you said about trauma affecting I sat down with a couple yesterday, who they're young. The guy is about 31 and they're married. They've been married for a few months, but there were issues already. And I carried myself from my house early in the morning before they would say they would go to work. I landed without telling them I was coming because somebody had given me G. I just landed. Hey, what's happened? And they were laughing. I can't leave my house early in the morning. I love my house more than this thing. I don't like to go out. If I'm here, you know that it's say, the moment they saw me, they knew that yes, this big game is not fun. And when we started having the conversations, I realized that there were loads of baggages from growing up that each person had brought into the marriage.
Relationship.
And it was
of course,
crazy.
You notice I rarely use the word marriage, because I think, I might be wrong, I think that the moment people start to say, I am married, it is a marriage, there is like giving ourselves the permission to not work on our relationship. It is still a relationship.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It is still a relationship. So I think, again, I might be wrong, people see marriage as last bus stop. I am here now. What am I supposed to still do here?
So when you say people, you mean the female?
No,
a guy would not think in Mutufeshi.
No,
a guy would not think that.
So when I say
think so,
a guy would not think
so.
that.
Okay, let me explain now. A guy is.
They probably think he is now responsible.
Yeah.
In quote,
Yes,
doesn't mean
responsible to care for,
Yes.
to provide for.
Mm-hmm.
But that chasing that he did to get the hunting is done.
Right.
So he doesn't think he should continue to hunt.
Right.
And the lady, sorry, ladies, I'm going to throw us under the bus. The lady also is no longer coy, or is no longer trying to. She's not also giving her best. This is what I have seen.
She's no longer putting herself in the prey position.
In the prey position.
But I
To be
think,
haunted.
honestly, but I think that's fair.
It should revolve. It should
It's
evolve.
fair?
I think it's all right.
Oh, really?
For them to settle
Yeah,
into
but
that.
so I think that relationship, when you get to that area of marriage has a whole different sets of rules. As a hunter, you don't want to keep hunting. When you've hunted and you've brought in your and you brought in your prey, you don't expect your prey to still be behaving like a prey inside your house. It's a prey. It's a prey. You've already, maybe you can put the antelope head on your wall. But that's the truth. Now, but again, I think where it goes wrong is thinking that you've arrived at a place that you need to stop working on yourself.
Exactly. That's one.
But that's a human being thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I do not use. I run away from using marriage, because I think this is me speaking as a linguist and a language person. Right. The semantics of what society has made marriage become.
Right.
Like, okay, I have arrived. Okay, this is another thing in life I have
achieved.
I have achieved.
Right.
So, okay, now to bring children to the world. Now, all right, so there is no growth. However, when the term relationship kinds of keeps it amoebic. It's evolving.
Right.
You're working to be a better person in this new phase.
Right.
To meet, like you said, the new realities of this phase of the relationship. Marriage is still a relationship, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I agree. Again, if you consider growth or growing as something that
a lifelong,
then it would be easier for you to know that this is not a bus stop.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it's not a terminal, but it's a stop. In marriage, because you have stops, so marriage is a stop for you. when the
No,
babies
I
come,
think
another
the-
stop for you. The terminal is
The
where
word
you.
would be phase.
Because I'm using a
or
terminal.
milestone.
Because I'm using a transport.
Yeah.
A
Okay, yeah.
transportation.
Metaphor.
Yeah, metaphor.
Or
It's just good to say
stopover.
there are stops. There are stops.
Yeah.
It's just life. After you graduate from secondary school, some want to go to university. Just because I do not want to go to university does not mean that I'm still not following a path.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it just means that I don't like your own path. I don't want to go to school, which is one of the things I had to deal with yesterday with this couple. I think in society we have a lot to do in terms of helping people reshape how they think. One of the problems that we're having was because he felt that she needed to do more, and she agrees. But she was agreeing to do more in an area of weakness.
Oh, wow.
Because she wanted to please. Found out that she's an agreeable person. Agreeable can be very somehow. They agree to everything without any intention of following through.
Can two work together? I agree.
I'm talking about the.
I'm just saying that is the scripture.
Yes.
I see what you're saying about.
I'm talking about the personalities of agreeableness. Okay, so I should use agreeableness.
More like compliant people.
Yes, agreeableness is very high. So she would agree to anything as long as it pleases you and you're not angry.
Of course, that is probably coming from where she's coming from.
Yes, I agree. And
is that coming from what?
No, I agree. I agree to what she
just
says because
joke.
I know
You
because
didn't get that joke. Okay, carry on. Let me know that.
Over my head to know you did it.
Because I'm trying to put my words, my thoughts together.
I know. It's fine.
All right.
So she had agreed to a lot of things, which was part of it was furthering her education, but that was a weakness for her. So one of the things, so I just had a Jesus moment and said, okay, so what are your wife's strengths? What are your husband's strengths and weaknesses? It took them a while. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. But eventually, he said something about his wife, and he didn't mention the weakness. He mentioned the strength, and I just went like, okay. So what's the problem? She has a strength here. Why are you not working to build on this strength? He said, I should ask her. That's the one. She's the one that suggested that this is what she wants. And I'm like, hello. It doesn't make any sense in this life. If you have strengths in an area, that's what you want to make the noise about.
Yeah.
And in your areas of weaknesses, you can begin to work on that in the background.
Yeah.
But it's not what you put out.
Okay, so let me take a break here and say that the end of this series is going to be in two parts because we are focused on marriage relationships right now. So, and we were supposed to talk about friendship.
I know, right?
So, guys, again, this is a table where we just have conversations to see how we get, and Ola, you just drilled down on the purpose of mindful eating machine. Of course, a lot of people thought, mental health and all that. But what is mental health if you don't ask yourself the right questions?
Right.
To be better. Mm-hmm. And this, of course, goes into relationships because, of course, the moment you are mindful about how you are okay. Maybe I shouldn't use mindful for the sake of this podcast. The moment you are aware of your questions, your whys, your whats, your house, your wheres, W4W, and yeah. What will hang and how, who, and you can answer that question. I believe then your ecosystem, your relational ecosystem, will get the best of you as you get the best of yourself.
Yeah, I'm an advocate for self development first. So you can only give what you have inside. So if you are not right inside, you can't. You'll be
left outside.
You will be left outside in the cold, out in the cold.
Oh my goodness.
So a couple of things I've taken away from this conversation today is we step into our own metaphors, even when we're relating with other people.
Right.
That's when we started this conversation, talking about what happened between Ola and I. And Ola is really, in as much as he said that he's not had experiences in the questions that you have asked, I think he's given some perspectives on how, generally, I hate stereotypes too, but how, the male mind works. When he said there can be people who are deadbeat and there are people who would definitely... And he also said, especially the hunting part. The hunting part was, I've stopped hunting. I can hang the antelope head and all that. It really didn't... Okay.
But I have a different perspective. Sorry.
Please go ahead. Of course, you're
because, so here's the thing. I'm not speaking for anybody. I'm just going to speak for myself as a woman. I really do like to be haunted. So when you said something about,
so maybe you should put that into perspective. What do you mean by being haunted?
Okay, so I still like my husband to cut me even after we're married.
What does that mean?
So it means that I still want to be the object of his affection continuously. Doesn't necessarily mean, but I would still like the things that he did to get me.
Right.
The attention he paid to me.
Right.
The words of affirmation.
Right.
Because I have my own particular... I'm a PDA kind of girl, for instance. I like PDA. Okay, so if I'm going to... It doesn't necessarily mean we have to be all over each other like rabbits in public. But my husband should show that, I'm interested in you. I'm with you. I want to be with you.
Right.
And so I think those things should continue. I don't think that I should become his wife.
I don't think that has anything to do with hunting.
It is.
It is.
Oh, that's what
that's part of the hunting. It's part of the hunting for females.
So again,
so that's how we view hunting.
If we go back to the...
Oh, wait, sorry, Ola. Hold your thought. Are you saying hunting is like, when you're still chasing the girl, she hasn't become your girlfriend, you're going to look for her or calling her? Or...
Again, so I don't know. I think God just created me differently. And these questions are I'm that kind of person that... No, I'm that kind of person that we're friends. You like me, I like you, let's move on to the next. I don't... All this... Hold on! All this... We are chasing you... Kill and chase...
So I get that.
So me, I'm not that kind of person in the first place. Now,
so
when
it's
it comes
flow for you.
Because I believe in friendships.
Agreed.
So now we come to the hunting place. I agree with you on it. I just don't want to call it hunting because it's not hunting to a man.
That's the picture, guys.
So it's semantics now. It's a function of semantics. But here's the thing, Ola.
Because you're no longer a prey to a man. You're no longer a prey in his house. What's the chasing?
That's a Nigerian thing.
No. So it doesn't mean he can't do more for his wife. Even at that point, he desires to do more for his wife because now he has somebody to say.
Now he knows you're my priority.
Yes, he can do that. That's what he wants to do.
So let me ask you a question. In line with that flow that you're talking about, that things don't necessarily have to be hardlined. Said, I want to chase you. Okay, will you be my girlfriend? Okay, now you're my girlfriend. I want to engage you. It's just a flow, right?
Right.
So, but do you treat all your female friends alike?
All my female friends?
Yes. For you to be able to differentiate between the woman that you have an emotional attachment to, affection for, beyond just platonic friendship, but now it's eros, right? So it's not just platonic. So, no, we're not talking about wife now. We're talking about from before it goes from...
She's trying to follow your path of your thought partner.
Yeah, that part where you talk about, it doesn't have to be hardline defined. It just flows. So I'm saying...
man knows what he
you
wants.
and Tumishe are friends. You and I are kind of friends now. I don't know if you fall into my circle of friends yet, but I'm just saying... You and I are kind of friends now.
Remember how I classified friendship last week?
Yeah, so somebody else comes in here and we're building a rapport.
Right.
Let me put it that way. Whatever happens outside of here, who knows? But we're building a rapport. But would you treat Tumishe and I the same way? No, there's a difference do you understand?
Definitely.
That's what I'm saying. So when you get to a stage where you begin to think, okay, I'm friends with this girl because we started as friends, but I'm thinking, okay, there might be something there.
Right.
How do you get into that? There might be something there that the girl will pick up on the signal. Do you leave it to the air to just... She starts to assume. Because
so I get what you're saying.
Assumption is what gets a lot of girls into trouble. So they think if they're calling a guy big head means he should know that I like him. Some guys might not get the signal of big head.
I get you. So again, it's not leaving it to assumption. So when you say, I think we're coming from the marriage context where you feel that a woman should still be hunted. Just the same thing. And I'm saying that just because I have gotten married, or just because I'm married to you, does not mean that I'm going to stop doing the things that the kind of person I am. Maybe, so I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, that maybe I'm the wrong person to have this conversation.
So let me.
I will not change who I am, who I was. No. So you know that this is what you're getting. Mm-hmm. I'm growing, I'm getting better. So you get a better version of me as we go on, but it's not that you'll get a lesser version of me.
Okay. So let me maybe not balance, okay?
We're gonna have a meeting after this podcast. Ola and I have to talk about some things,
Alright, so this will shock you.
Yeah.
But I'm with Ola in the sense that there need not be.
I'm not shocked.
You're
I'm not shocked, not because I think I know you. I'm not shocked because I am very I'm open to
whatever it is,
ideas and
so
opinions.
I think that I also flow. I was telling you the other day, I think that I can't remember ever being chased.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember ever. Most of the guys I've dated, but even my husband, there was no. We were friends,
right?
And then we knew, because I think that there is a connection that comes, and we knew that. Kill and shade.
And just test and confirm.
And then the conversation would just, and then you would know. So I'm with Ola. But then, sometimes when I don't know whether I'm a lady at any point in my life, the people in my life, including you, they would say, I think,
all right,
Bumikuku, I'm sorry, but I think that telling a lady, I love you, I love you, I love you, every other day, is why? The last time you told me, did you stop? Have you stopped? Did you change your mind?
Again, so it comes to probably his own love language. Maybe for him, it's word of affirmation. That's how you feel.
I had to sit. Now I accept it.
So what that's telling you is you should say a lot of more words of affirmation.
His words of affirmation and what's this other one they say?
Act of service.
No, act of service.
You should feel like that. You should have touch, physical touch, like
I think presence. I mean, what's that one?
Quality time.
Quality.
Yeah,
quality time.
Usually goes. Yeah.
You said this girl is a boy. What are we doing? So what's next? So what the hell? Where have you? And sometimes you just go say. So I remember, and this is how we're going to rank up before I take your final thoughts. I remember when we just got married. The first. Okay, he had missed my birthday. My birthday is very important to me. You can, if you like, don't remember any other thing.
Right.
But my birthday, and then we got married in December. My birthday was about 3 weeks after that. No, did I say 2 weeks? 2 weeks after that. And then, Pastor woke up in the morning. You are blessed. Yeah, and then he went to work. Ha! Okay, and I kept waiting. Okay. Then he came back from work and was like, "Oh, so what's for?"
Don't fall off.
And he goes like,
"Don't fall off your chair."
And he goes like, "What's for dinner?" Like, "What's for dinner on my birthday?" Like seriously. And of course, I sulked for a long time, and eventually we talked about it. Fast forward to Valentine's Day, the same year, he bought me flowers.
I'm like,
why?
I'm not a flowers girl, man. Guy. Why?
Maybe that's part of the hunting.
Know what they like. Don't buy flowers for me.
I'm like, flowers, jeez. And then I was telling him the other day that
Flowers.
Did you know that you used to send me flowers at rehearsals?
Oh,
what is that? What are you doing? And when they bring it to rehearsal, the girls around me going, "Oh, your husband is so sweet." In my head, I'm like,
Embarrassment.
You get
Drawing attention to me that I don't want.
Why you embarrassing
I
me?
know, right?
You know. And then the final camel was, I think, that'd be my 35th or 36th birthday. If you see the book, bowl of how that sent to my office, my then office, the traffic radio, and everybody was. I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know when I said, but don't show. But don't show. We never had this conversation. Somehow I just knew that. And whether you heard it or not, I'm not sure, but I knew you had heard.
You stopped, right?
No flowers again. Guess when we had this conversation? 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
3 weeks ago, we were laughing over it, and then it was like, you know? So like I said, so for me, just like you, it's a process. You're growing. Now, if it gives me, please don't do, but if it gives me flowers now, I understand that that is, you know, if it gives me flowers, I can accept it and say, this is part of how he loves. This is how, you know, because it's Oyibo like that. He goes like, let's dance and say, was bawo, where there's butter. You know, you know. So I think in rounding this off, everyone should work towards understanding that their relationship, in this case, marriage, even if it is not, you know, you're engaging all that, it has its own DNA.
Yeah, it does.
That's it.
It does.
Look for it. Be active. Actively look for it.
Yeah.
You get married, a lot of things are going to happen. But you need to actively understand the molecules in everything. I don't know biology, but that makes up this other person. Not all women are the same. Not all men are the same.
In fact, not two persons.
Not two persons are the same. You know, there will be common denominators, I agree. You know, but my husband noticed that if he got me a gadget,
You freak.
on the German, you know, like I will actually pound it, you know. So he's saying that all girls like flowers or all girls like shoes,
That's
or all girls
stereotype.
it's so stereotype. So what would be your final words before we take from Ola? Ola will be the last person who speaks today.
Yeah. So I think I agree with you on that connection part, and Ola mentioned that as well. Connection is so important, and that connection that two people build, that's so unique to both of you because there's an energy that you both exude in that connection. So find out what it is about that connection that sustains your relationship and keep going at that. Don't lose it. I think that it is important for couples in marriages to have their own language, their own style, that unique personality, the lifeblood that drives their relationship, and stay focused on it. Don't take leaves from other people, except things that are going to build a healthy relationship for you. But make sure that you guys determine the language of your marriage, of your relationship, and build on it together. So I agree with that totally. I agree. And one thing about you struggling with your gender, it's not unique to you. Once you come to a realization of who you are as a female, you realize that there's a male and female part of you. And then you have to find that balance. I told somebody one day, a friend of mine who was very interested in me, a guy, and I was driving him in my car. I went to pick him up from the airport, and at that time he was chasing me. Haunted thing. And so I said, I'll come pick you up. I was traveling from out of the country. He said, he's going to arrive. His driver is blah, blah, blah. So, no, I'll come pick you up. You live in my neighborhood, so why not? So I scooped him up from there, and we're driving back in the evening, and, you know, we're on Decoding road. And the way I was driving, I was like, look, you're a fast driver, but you're a good driver. I was like, in my previous life, if I had come again, I would have been a race car driver. The guy went like, He was shocked. But that's the thing. I like cars. I'm an automobile girl. I've written a book now. One of the main highlights of my book, one of my protagonists, I talked about his car, a Brabus, extensively. I went to research about the G-Wagon because I like the car. You know, so there's part of us. So I can relate with that part of you. There's a part of us that can be gender fluid sometimes. We were taken out of a man, so we have that both. So it's finding that balance and understanding who you are as a woman and fitting into that role, and then you can blend and complement, your man in a marriage or a romantic relationship. Swipe.
Yes.
I'm passing over now to
Yes. So sometimes, before now, I used to wonder what gives me the right to be able to talk to married people about marriage. It took me a while to figure it out. It's still a human being thing.
Yeah.
You get. If you can figure yourself out as a human being, connecting with another human being who has already also figured themselves out, you guys would have very little issue. And has nothing to do with marriage. Has a lot to do with you being self-aware and having sense and putting that sense into action.
Yikes.
Right. So for me, this is where I'm going to drop. You said something that I love. That every relationship has its DNA, and that makes a lot of sense because again, there are no two relationships that are the same.
Yeah.
You can have friendship with this person and have friendship with this person and have friendship with this person and not talk about the same thing with the three of them.
Oh yeah.
And so, for me, it was like, but now I'm like in that space where this one likes money gone. So me and this person will be talking about a lot of money. This person is not so much of a outgoing person, but he likes books. So we talk about books.
Yeah.
Oh, this person, she's very good at, So you just learn that the connection between each of these relationships, that's the DNA, is different and unique. And when you bring that into the concept or I was going to say contraption of marriage.
Contraption, no. When you do that, what happens? Yeah.
When you bring it into the context of
marriage,
Marriage, better word.
you would find that bringing your trunk
of garbage.
that's the word.
And gifts.
And gifts. Well,
Thank you.
These days is
Baggage,
less
baggage
gifts.
and gifts.
Yeah, baggage and gifts. You'd find that you're not the only one bringing your own. So just because the other party's own is not as hefty as yours doesn't mean that it's not heavier in terms of how it has impacted them. So your own is a lot of plastic. So plastic sometimes can take a lot of space. But theirs is
some dense metal.
a hard disk, a 1 terabyte hard disk.
Alright, thank you guys. We really have to run this up because we need to, and unfortunately, fortunately, I'm going to have you guys back.
Right.
And I hope that conversation will be shorter and we actually now round up the series.
I can't bet on that.
We actually now round up the series. Or we just start the series. We start the second series with that conversation. Anywho, thank you guys for coming. Yes, we thought we were going to talk about friendship. But then it's relationship, just like I said. I'm not a fan of calling marriage or it is relationship when we can all work on it. Thank you guys for coming.
You're welcome.
Alright. www.blackimages.com is where you can find me, or you can also just go to the show link and get everything that you need to know about Oluwatu Michelle Dapokuku. Remember, living mindfully, a journey to being is still selling. How does what we have talked about today relate to mental health? It is simple. If your relationship with yourself and other people are not intact or on the way of evolving, you will suffer. Simple. You will suffer in your mind, and then you have this anxiety, overwhelming thoughts and all that. So we all need, my prayer or my desire for you is we all need to work to the place where we are conscious about the things that make us conscious. Yeah? I love you. Can you say it with me if you know it? Love yourself. Love your neighbor. Love your country. Above all of this, love
God
is the essence of your being.